Good afternoon, students. Can you listen me? Sayon? Yes, sir. Okay. So we are continuing with the story The Enemy. We are continuing with the story The Enemy. Okay. Now in my last class, so far I can understand, I can remember, I completed up to page number 41. Page number 41, just open at page number 41. Today we will start from the last paragraph of page number 41. Beforehand, what happened, I would like to tell you that beforehand, Dr. Sadao had gone to the Army General for his treatment, and the servants of Dr. Sadao's house, they had left their job, as Dr. Sadao had given shelter to this white American. And a messenger came in uniform to call Dr. Sadao for the treatment of Army General, and seeing the messenger, Hana was very much afraid. Hana thought that messenger had come to arrest them. Whatever, going to the Army General, Dr. Sadao told everything about what had happened. And Army General had made a plan with Dr. Sadao. What was the plan? The Army General told Dr. Sadao that he would send two of his murderers to Dr. Sadao's house, and they would murder the white American, and afterwards they would remove his body. That was the plan. After making the plan, Dr. Sadao had came back to his house, and he went to meet with the white American. From there we should start, and from going there he saw that the white American was coming out from his room, and at this Dr. Sadao was very angry, and he told, "Who gave you permission to leave your room?" The man told that, "I am not used to waiting for permission." Tom said, "Gave me. Goes, I feel pretty good again, but will the muscles on the side always feel stiff?" And the white man told Dr. Sadao that the muscles of that side where where the bullet had entered his body, and where Dr. Sadao had performed the operation, that he felt the muscles were remained very stiff. So he was asking that whether it remained so stiff or whether it would feel good. At this, let's start from there. Page number 41, we are reading page number 41, we are reading The Enemy from Vistas, page number 41. This is Vistas, not Flamingo. Now starting from the last paragraph of page number 41. "Is it so?" Sadao inquired, surprised. Now Sadao, when the man told that his muscles got stiff, then Dr. Sadao inquired that, "Is it so?" He forgot all else. "Now I thought I had provided against that," he murmured. Now doctor told that, I had forbade you to move from here." He lifted the edge of the man's shirt and gazed at the healing scar. And here Dr. Sadao lifted the man's shirt, and he saw the scar, the wound, okay, where the operation has been done. He just saw, and Dr. Sadao realized that the scar, that the wound was getting well. Massage may do it, he said. Dr. Sadao told that if you do massage, then it would be better for you, if exercise does not. So Dr. Sadao told the white American that if exercise does not heal it properly, then it would require massage. "It wouldn't bother me much," the young man said. The young man told, "No, it doesn't bother me much." His young face was gaunt under the stubbly blonde beard. What does it mean? His young face was gaunt. Gaunt means weak, gloomy. His young face became very weak under the stubbly. Stubbly means unshaven. That is not shaven. Okay, that is not shaved properly. Unshaven, blonde means having yellowish golden yellowish beard. The man, as he is American, so his beard is also golden yellowish. So he is having unshaven beard in his cheek, and when Dr. Sadao told that you need massage, you need massage for your stiff muscles, and this the white American told that it don't bother much. It's not bothering much. And Dr. Sadao actually saw that his face became very weak. Seeing his facial expression, it was understandable that the man was very weak, and under his stubbly blonde beard, stubbly means unshaven. Doctor, I have got something I want to say to you. Now at this the white American told the doctor that he wanted to tell something to him. If I hadn't met a Jap like you, well, I wouldn't be alive today. Now here the white American was expressing his expressing his gratitude to Dr. Sadao. He told that if I hadn't met a Jap like you, then well, I wouldn't be alive today. He now realized that if he had not met with Dr. Sadao, then he may not alive to that day. I know that. Sadao bowed but could not speak. Sadao bowed down like this but could not speak. Sure, I know that. Tom went on warmly. Tom is the name of the white American, don't forget, because you are having MCQ question. In MCQ question this would be very important. So Tom is the name of the white American. Sure, I know that. Tom went on warmly. Tom went on telling. His big thin hands gripping a chair were white at the knuckles. This is knuckles, this is knuckles. So when Tom was holding a chair, his knuckles become whitish. It means that he was getting well. Still, he doesn't have enough blood in his body, okay? I guess if all the Japs were like you, there wouldn't have been a war. And he told Dr. Sadao that I think that if the Japanese are like you, then there wouldn't have been a war. Then there would be no requirement of this war. Okay? Here, the white American was praising Dr. Sadao. Perhaps, Sadao said with difficulty. Dr. Sadao did not agree with. He told perhaps. And now I think you had better go back to bed. And Dr. Sadao advised the man, it's better, you must go back to bed. He helped the boy back into the bed and then bowed. Good night, he said, and Dr. Sadao helped the man to go to his bed, and he just bade him good night, and he just bowed something like this, and he just waited. Sadao slept badly that night. Why? Because Sadao had already made the plan with the army general, and according to the army general, 2 murderers should come at night to kill the white American. So it must be very tough for Dr. Sadao, isn't it? Dr. Sadao knew that by the side of his bedroom, it is the white man's room. White man was sleeping, and the murderer would come. They would enter into the room. They would murder the man, and they would take the man away from there. So Sadao was thinking, and that is why he could not sleep well that night. Time and again he woke, thinking he heard the rustling of footsteps, the sound of a twig broken or a stone displaced in the garden, a noise such as men might make who carried a burden. Now as if Dr. Sadao could listen few sounds. What are the sounds? Time and again he woke. Time and again he woke up. He was waking up from sleep. He could not sleep properly. Thinking he heard the rustlings of footsteps. He thought that he heard some footsteps. The sound of a twig broken, as if he heard a sound. The twig means a small branch, as if a small branch had been broken. Or a stone displaced in the garden, or a stone has been replaced in the garden, as if he could listen this sound. And a noise such as men might make who carried a burden. Or ultimately as if he could listen a noise, that as if footsteps were going on, as if few people were taking a burden. Means in his mind, Sadao, in his imagination, Sadao could listen all these sounds. He was sure that the assassins, the murderer had come and they had killed the man. And after killing the man, they had taken the dead body of that man as well. The next morning, he made the excuse to go first into the guest room. Guest room means where the white American was sleeping. So next morning, Dr. Sadao went with that excuse. He went to meet with the white American. If the American were girl, he then could simply tell Hannah that so the general had directed. Now, according to Sadao had a plan with the army general. And Sadao did not say a single word about the plan to his wife Hana. So when Sadao in the next morning, when Sadao was going to the guest room, she was planning that if she could see that no man was there, means if the white American was killed and taken away by the assassins, by the murderers, then he would tell everything to Hana. Okay? Afterwards, he would not, beforehand, he would not tell anything to him. But when he opened the door, he saw at once that there was on the pillow was a saggy blonde head. But when Sadao opened the door of the room where white American was sleeping, he saw that his saggy blonde head, saggy means hairy. He saw the man was sleeping and his hairy head was there on the pillow. Means the man was sleeping. Means nobody came last night. So where from Sadao had heard this sound, this was all the creation of his imagination. This was all the creation of his imagination. There was no such sound over there. But Sadao in his imagination, he actually listened to all this sound. So nobody came and the white man was sleeping. He could hear the peaceful breathing of sleep and he closed the door again quietly. And the man was sleeping so peacefully. Okay, so Sadao closed the door quietly. He is asleep, he told Hana. He came to take his breakfast and he told his wife that the man is asleep. He is almost well to sleep like that. And Dr. Sadao told Hana that the man is getting well. The man has got so well that the man could sleep well. No disturbance should have. He should have any disturbance during the sleep because he could sleep well. What shall you do with him? Hana whispered her old refrain. Here, the word refrain means the line or stanza that comes repeatedly in a poem. Here, Hana had asked this question severally to Dr. Sadao. What was the question? That what shall we do with him? That is why it has been told as refrain. Refrain means the line that is being repeated in a poem. Okay, that is refrain. So as Hana had asked this for a number of times, that is why he just actually asked it, and that is why it has been told as refrain. And here Hana again asked this question to Dr. Sadao, what shall you do with him? Sadao shook his head. Sadao just nodded his head. I must decide in a day or two, he promised. He told her, yes, in a day or two I should decide what to do, because he was sure that today or that night or last night nobody came. But tonight or the next night the murderer must come, because this is the plan he had with the army general. So that night they may have missed, but next night they must come. And that is why Dr. Sadao told Hana that in a day or two I would decide. But certainly he thought the second night must be the night. The second night must be the night, means first night no murderer came to his house to kill the white American. So he was thinking second night must be the night, that second night probably the murderer would come. There rose a wind that night and he listened to the sounds of bending boughs and whistling partitions. That night there was a wind, there was a storm was going on outside, and he could listen the sound of bending boughs. Boughs means here branches of trees. The tree branches were getting lowered, and whistling of partitions, and the partitions are there, these are all whistling. So sounds of storm he could listen that night. Hana woke too at the sounds that was as storm was going outside. Hana also woke up. Ought we not to go and close the sick man's partition? She asked. Now Hana told this to Dr. Sadao that we should go and close the door of the sick man's room. But according to the plan, the army general told Dr. Sadao that the door of the white man should be opened so that the murderer could enter the room without any hazards. That is why here, listening the sound of the storm, Hana actually suggested Sadao that we should go to close the door of that white American. But Sadao told, no, Sadao said, he is able now to do it for himself. Sadao told, no, he is able enough. He is, good enough, well enough to do it of his own. If it is storm, then he could close the door of his room himself. But the next morning, the American was still there. So this is the second night also passed. After passing of second night, Sadao found the American was still there. So in the second night also, nobody came. Then the third night, of course, must be the night. Sadao thought that third night must be the night, because he had a plan with that army general. So last 2 nights passed, nobody came. So third night must be the night. The wind changed to quiet rain, and that night it was raining heavily, and garden was full of the sound of dripping aves and running streams. What does it mean? Dripping aves means water was dripping down the roof. Water was falling down the roof, okay? And these water, as it made a small, rivulets. Rivulets means small river into the ground. It was raining so heavily that rain was falling down the roof, and it makes a small river in his garden as it. Sadao slept a little better. At that night, Sadao slept, but he woke up at the sound of a crash and leaped to his feet. On the third night, Sadao woke up because he heard a crashing sound, as if something has been crashed outside, something has been broken, and he woke up. Sadao woke up and at this noise. What was that? Hana cried. Hana also woke up at this noise. The baby woke at her voice and began to wail. The baby also, they also woke up at the voice of their mother. So Hana, Sadao, baby, they all woke up at the sound, because outside there they heard a sound, okay, crashing sound outside. I must go and see. And Hana told, I must go and see. But he held her and would not let her move. So Hana, the wife, was about to come out at night to see where from the sound had come. But Sadao pulled his wife and did not allow her to move out of that room. Sadao, she cried, what is the matter with you? As Sadao did not allow Hana to go outside and to see where from the sound has come. At this, Hana was surprised, and Hana asked Sadao, what is the matter with you? Don't go, he murmured, don't go. Here Sadao told, don't go outside. His terror infected her, and she stood breathless, waiting. As if from the sound, Hana realized that Dr. Sadao was very much afraid. And this fear had transmitted to Hana, and she was standing there, okay? She was standing breathless. She was also very much terrified that what is going on outside. They heard a sound. There was only silence. Afterwards, there was silence. Together, they crept back into the bed, the baby between them. Afterwards, both Hana and Sadao, they went to that bed, okay? And there was no much sound there outside. Yet, when he opened the door of the guest room in the morning, there was the young man. Next day, means after the third night, when again, last night they heard a sound, but still afterwards, when Dr. Sadao opened the room of that white American, he saw the white American was there. He was very gay and had already washed and was now on his feet. Gay means very happy. The white American was very happy, and he had already washed, means he had already taken his bath and was now on his feet, and he was standing by his own. He had asked for a razor yesterday and had shaved himself, and today there was a faint color in his cheeks. And last day the white American asked for a razor for shaving his beard, and that morning Dr. Sadao found that he had shaved his cheek, and his cheek is having his faint color, means his cheek is getting pinkish color. It means that he is getting well, okay? And he was looking very fresh. The white American was looking very fresh. He had taken his bath, he had shaved his beard, and he is having his cheek is having his faint color. It suggests that he is getting well, and the man was standing on his feet. I'm well, he said joyously, and he became very happy seeing Dr. Sadao. He told Dr. Sadao, I'm well. Sadao drew his kimono around his weary body. Kimono means the outer garment. Sadao went near the white American and he just arranged his kimono. He could not, he decided suddenly, go through another night. Sadao waited 3 nights, waited for the assassins, for the murderers to come. But when Sadao went near the white American, he decided that he could no longer wait for another night. It was not that he cared for this young man's life. No, simply it was not worth the strain. No, it was not that he was thinking that what would happen if the murderers would come, what would happen to the white American. No, Dr. Sadao could not take the stress anymore. Here strain means stress, because he had waited 3 consecutive nights. He had waited 3 nights in a row with that expectation that the murderer would come to kill the white American. But in the 3 nights, nobody came. So Dr. Sadao decided that he is not going to wait for anyone any more nights. Okay? This is not that he was not thinking about the white man. He was thinking about his stress, about his strain. You are well, Sadao agreed. Now Sadao changed his plan. Sadao told, you are well. He lowered his voice, and in a low voice, Dr. Sadao was telling this to the white American. You are so well that I think if I put my boat on the shore tonight with food and extra clothing in it, you might be able to row to that little island not far from the coast. Now, Dr. Sadao had a boat. Dr. Sadao told this to the white American, that if I arrange the boat tonight, if I stuff the boat with food and water, then tonight, with the help of that boat, you could go to the nearby island. There was an island there. It is so near the coast that it has not been worth fortifying. Fortifying means putting security at a place. The island was so near to that seashore where Sadao's house was, that no security over there. Means nobody was there as security. Nobody lives on it because in storm it is submerged, and this island is inhabited. Nobody lives in the island because in the stormy time is submerged. It's drowned in water. But this is not the season of storm, Dr. Sadao was telling. This is not the season of storm. You could live there until you saw a Korean fishing boat pass by. Dr. Sadao told, yes. So with the help of my boat, you must go to that island, and you should stay there, and you should wait there for a Korean boat to come. They passed quite near the island because the water is many fathoms deep there. Fathom is the unit to measure the water, depth of water. Fathom is the unit to measure the depth of water. So Dr. Sadao told the white American that you must go to that island with his boat, and you must go there and wait there. Okay, wait there, so that and wait for the Korean fishing boat. Whenever the Korean fishing boat would come, you take the advantage of it. The young man stared at him, slowly comprehending. Comprehending means understanding. The young white American, he was staring at Dr. Sadao. Do I have to? He asked. Now he told Dr. Sadao, do I have to? Means I will have to do this. I think so, Sadao said gently. Sadao told, yes, I think. You understand. Sadao told, I hope you understand. It is not hidden that you are here. Yes. He told that yes, it is understandable that you are here. It's not hidden. Everybody knows that you are here. So it is a great headache for me, Dr. Sadao was telling. It is a great headache for me that you are staying here. The young man nodded in perfect comprehension. Okay, he said simply. He nodded, moved his head up and down. And the young man nodded his head with that perfect understanding. And he told, okay, means Dr. Sadao had encouraged the man to escape from his house with the help of his boat. Up to this, I feel you have understood. Sir, which boat means Dr. Sadao had a boat, a small boat. As Dr. Sadao's house was there in that island, so he had a boat. Okay, with that boat, he would give that boat to the white American. Okay? Thank you. Next day we will complete it. So it's goodbye.